Psalms 25, 29, 33, 36, and 39. Well, back in Psalm 1, we've heard of the person who has chosen the path of righteousness. And again, salvation in the Old Testament is more of a path being walked than a set of doctrines being believed, right? And as he goes on this path of righteousness, throughout the Psalms, we are hearing, it's almost like he's looking in the mirror at times and wondering, who am I looking at? What is this person like? And one of the ways to describe this person, or to describe himself, are some pretty shocking verses about how frail, weak, and sinful this person is. In fact, let me read a couple from today's reading. Psalm 25:11. Pardon my iniquity, for it is great, he says. 25:18. Look on all my afflictions and my pain, and forgive all my sins. Sounds like he has a lot of them. 39:4. Lord, make me know my end, and what is the measure of my days, that I may know how frail I am. So the whole spectrum from just being frail to being downright wicked, I think, is part of the knowledge of the righteous person as they go through their day. And that's part of the diary sense of the Psalms. What we don't have here, I believe, is a doctrine of sin being described. We're too far down the story, in other words. He's not wanting to collect these verses, or he's not writing them to be collected and put in a theology book under the title of sinfulness, or man's natural sinfulness. That's not the story, of course, that he has given. In fact, what I wrote in my margin many years ago beside Psalm 39:4 was this. This is an in-house discussion about looking in the mirror as a righteous person and being confused and frustrated by what I see. So again, this is not just a general doctrine of sin. In fact, what I would call this, if we do want to have a pessimistic, is that how I spell it? I believe so. A pessimistic anthropology. The idea, if there is a doctrinal title to put over these verses of a righteous person's sins, I would call it this point of, I start my day and I have good intentions, but almost every day I end in failure. It's a pessimistic feel toward my own anthropology. Now, to be fair, there is the opposite, and I'll just put the word optimistic for now. Optimistic, because listen to some of the same texts. In fact, it's even an optimistic anthropology. Some of the same readings we saw this week. Listen to them. 25:21. Let integrity and uprightness preserve me, for I wait on you. 33:18. Behold, the eye of the Lord is on those who fear him. So in the same breath of a man who knows how wicked he can be and how frail and how weak, he says, but I can also do very well. I think both of those need to be part of our doctrinal understanding of the righteous person. And again, understand it in terms of poetry and like a diary. Now, what he also does, and this is where we have heard some of the most famous passages of all time, sometimes the righteous writer will look down upon the life of the wicked person, the man who has chosen to be a non-Yahwist. In Psalm 14:1-3, the fool hath said in his heart, no Elohim. Now, the word there is no Elohim is not in the text. There is not there. It just means, and most commentators believe, this is not a statement of atheism, it's a statement of independence. He just looks up into the heavens and says no. And what does follow, or what flows from this in Psalm 14? The verse continues, they are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none who does good. 36:1, there is no fear of God before their eyes. And with that same, it's like a pendulum swing between the life of the righteous, thinking about his own situation, then he thinks about the life of the wicked, and we get a poetic exaggeration many times. Everyone, or all the time, or nothing they do is right. So again, what is not meant to be done is to grab these verses and put them under a doctrine of sinfulness, because again, that's not why, or the context of why those verses are there. They're there as the righteous person is thinking poetically about the life of the non-righteous. What is missing in any doctrine or any discussion of the Old Testament is the status of what we'll call the natural man, the person who has not chosen between these two paths. Frankly, everyone in context whose sin is being talked about in the Bible has already chosen the path. We're either talking about or hearing the life of a righteous man, talking about himself, or we're hearing the statements of a righteous man thinking about a non-righteous man. So at no point do we have verses talking about what has traditionally been called the natural man. That's just not part of the discussion of the Bible that I'm seeing. What is part of this person's ability or natural state that really runs our story that we've seen again and again is his or her innate ability to both choose an Elohim and be loyal to that Elohim.